Welcome to another episode of Spiders Sound Off. This is Tom.
And this is Porter.
Let's go back and pick up our conversation with Richmond Spiders women's basketball stars Addie Budnick and Katie Hill. So before we get to the big win in the postseason, I don't think we can go there without talking about the A10 tournament. You have the A10 tournament loss, and then you have a week roughly until Selection Sunday. I guess, how did you guys feel after that loss? We were there watching it at the Henrico Center and just remember Maggie getting run over on that last play. But versus debating the refs, kind of what was the mood and kind of how did that next week go as you're waiting for, whether you get an at-large or not?
The loss was devastating because obviously this being our final year and just what expectations and standards we held ourselves and the team to this year, coming up short during the A10 tournament was definitely not a good feeling. And losing the way we did on a buzzer beater, it made it sting a little more than usual. But we actually got to go home for, I think, 2 days, or some of us did, the people that were more local. Addie didn't.
Addie shaking her head no.
It was a long week, about 2 days. So I think for some of us that was good, just to get a break, try to come back with a fresh mind and a new mindset and try to put that game in the past and focus on the next step that we have, which was hopefully at the time getting an at-large bid to the tournament. But it was devastating. We had to process what happened, but at the same time, we couldn't let it hold us down, and we had to move on and prepare and be ready and excited for whatever that next game was going to be.
So, yeah. Addie, they all left you alone? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. After the game, it was definitely confusing. I think you mentioned some of obviously they made a shot, but then they waved it off, but then they didn't. It was just a confusing moment all around. Nobody really understood what was happening, but long story short, we lost. That was obviously, like Katie said, devastating. And then some people went home. I was just hanging out here. And then the week kept going, and then I think we came back to practice. You could tell that something was in the air in the sense where it was not a good practice. Morale was low, and we're not the kind of team to drag like that across the board. Mood was not great, and we were told that it was not a good practice, but I think we had some tough conversations. I know I talked to Coach a few times. Coach talked to captains, Katie, Anna, and I a few times as well, just giving feedback on both ends. So I think that's part of the team. Part of the reason why we were so good was we were able to communicate and be honest with one another without hurting someone's feelings. We understood that we had something to get done, and you had to have tough conversations in order to get past that. So I think that helped a lot. For me, I know I didn't want to get too caught up in the bracketology. I knew what we did, and I had full faith that we should be playing. Our resume was incredible, the way we played, the way we carried ourselves and made a name for Richmond throughout the year. I knew that we deserved to be in the tournament, but at the same time, didn't want to get those expectations too high, just to be disappointed on selection show. So coming in, just no expectations whatsoever. And I think that made the moment even more special. I think I couldn't stop smiling after they read our name. And then after that, obviously, we're playing UCLA-themed music before practice. Everybody was happy, and we knew that we had work to do, and we had some of our best practices leading up to LA.
I think when I was watching the selection show, the ladies' selection show, I think there was a second delay between the camera that was on you guys and when you heard that you had made the tournament. Because I think I remember they flashed to Richmond and all of us saw that you guys had been given an at-large, but you guys were sitting there stone-faced. And I think the announcer might even said, man, Richmond does not look happy with their seed.
I think we hadn't received the news yet.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they flashed back to you guys, and you guys were all partying, so you realized it was just a delay in what you were watching. So, but it was a pretty funny moment.
The year prior, we waited so long to find out too, and then this year it was one of the first ones.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody was expecting it. There's definitely a delay, because as soon as we saw it, we were going crazy. But
Yep.
it was definitely the complete opposite of what happened last year, which was interesting.
Now you have to remind me, what was that Selection Sunday event like? Was this a private team only, or they had all the fans there just like the year before?
Yep, it was public. They advertised it. I think they posted some stuff on social media. So anybody was welcome. We actually had a good crowd as well. So that made it, after what had happened the week prior, being able to get an at-large seed, like for us, but also for the community as well, made it even more special.
Yeah, no, I'm glad they did that. Again, obviously, there's risk when you do that too, right? You could have been one of the awkward videos of not getting in, but it was obviously awesome to do that. So now you're going to LA. You got Georgia Tech coming. Kind of what was that trip like? Getting out to LA, was that an exciting time for all of you? And like, what did you guys get to do to enjoy LA besides practice?
We were all like just so excited. We were just filled with joy and excitement on that flight to LA. I think we touched down and somebody started playing what song?
Party in the USA.
Yeah, Party in the USA. We were singing. It was just a great team environment. We definitely practiced there, but we had time to go see stuff, explore. We went to the pier.
Santa Monica Pier, yeah.
Santa Monica Pier. One day we also did a bus tour of celebrity houses. So we were going through like the hills on this hot pink bus.
It was more the experience, I'll say that. It was definitely something special. We went from practice to the buses, and I think we all were like starving and in a state of delusion. So they got us pizza when we got to the buses, and we were just like handing them out throughout this pink bus. And it was just blasting like LA themed music as we went through. And we were like going up the hills and seeing everything. So I can't really remember any celebrity houses, but
Okay.
I remember the experience, and that's all that matters.
It's an experience I will never forget.
That's awesome.
So how much prep? I'm sure there was a lot, but kind of how was the Georgia Tech prep? Was that all in LA? Did you do some of it like the day after you heard who you were playing, or like what was the preparation like and understanding that team and how they played?
Yeah. Obviously it was a quick turnaround for the coaches as well. So they didn't know who we were playing until that Sunday night. And then we ended up leaving that Tuesday. So the NCAA flew us out that Tuesday. So it was a quick turnaround for them. So I think they had a day of just scout prep meetings. And then in practice, usually what we do is we slowly talk about what they run. So I think as they were getting it, we started to defend their sets a little bit, think about what would work on our end against them. And then once we got there, we sat down, did a full scout like we usually do. And then obviously we had practice at UCLA. So we were able to go through all of that there as well. But they did a great job providing us with everything. They had that scout down. And I think we were all locked into. Everybody knew the scout, every page of it. So it was great.
Well, I think the game showed that you were well prepared, and the maybe you could call them potential distractions of going to the Santa Monica Pier or going on the tour. Like none of that really mattered. Like that game really wasn't close.
I mean, it was, I think, 75-48, if I recall. And I mean, there's so many great Spider players from last year, but I think that game, Maggie announced herself on the national stage. I think she scored 30 and had maybe 15 or 16 rebounds. I think Richmond arrived as a major force in women's college basketball, and you guys were a huge part in making that happen. The fact that you stayed committed to seeing it through with the coaching staff and got that first NCAA win, you can't understate just how those moments matter to fans. And I was watching it in Vegas, and I was so excited. I mean, what I was watching was a domination, and it just felt so good to see you guys rewarded for the efforts that you put in all season long. I felt so great that you guys had that moment.
Thank you.
So the game was such a blowout. I think you were both on the sideline at the end of that game. So kind of what is that experience like? You're winning, our school's first NCAA tournament game. You're on the sidelines, kind of with the starters, kind of enjoying this big victory. Kind of try to put us back in that moment, Katie, maybe you can go first, of like just what it felt like when you knew you were going to win with probably 10 minutes left, but when that clock goes down to 0 and it's done, kind of what did that feel like?
I mean, it's just surreal. It's when you're growing up and you decide that you want to play college basketball, it's what you dream of. And it's like you said, it's what we signed up to do, to come to Richmond to do. So just getting to experience that, it's hard to put into words, but it was just such a great experience. And it's a memory that I will hold on forever and I will tell to my family one day. But it's hard to put into words. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, I think also everybody being able to get on the court and experience that as well was something special, because a lot of times when playing the tournament, they're going to be super competitive games. Maybe everybody's not getting in the rotation, but to be able to clear the bench and have everybody get to play in an NCAA game and get to experience that from freshmen up to grads, like that's also something special, given that I think everybody, for the most part, their families were able to make it out to LA too. So having that moment with them as well was just amazing.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Did you so you have the win? Did you stay in the stands to watch the next game, or did you guys? I mean, after going to the locker room, did you guys watch to see who you'd play next?
So some of us actually had to go do cold tubs for some rehab since we were coming up on another game quickly. So some of us went and did that right after, and then we came out and watched the second half of the game just to get an idea of UCLA. Obviously, we'd seen them play prior on TV, but just to watch them play in person, see their style of play, and just get a better idea of what we were going up against in the next game.
And how was that? Obviously, the prep there is even harder, right? You've got one day in between. There's only so much prep you can do when Lauren Betts is there at center. But what was that game strategy like? Was just kind of keep doing what you were doing from a kind of offense and defense, and just, I mean, obviously you look back to that game. There was one quarter where they kind of took off, and 3 quarters where you guys were neck and neck with them. But what was the prep like? What did you need to hear, or how did the coaches try to prepare you for playing what, in a sense, was a home
The
game?
number one team in the country.
Yeah, the number one team in the country at home.
On their home court.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some, obviously it's the number one team in the country, but the benefit to that is that I think all of us had seen them play and were familiar with all of their starters. So we kind of knew who they were and what they like to do going into it. So memorizing the actual scout wasn't too difficult. And honestly, they ran similar stuff to us. So that made the prep and understanding how we had to defend them easier. Obviously, they had size, which made it a bit difficult, but they had already prepped the scout before we even left Richmond. So each coach gets assigned a scout, and obviously there's that uncertainty and putting in the work to something that might not happen if we don't win, but they were prepared. They had the scouts printed out, ready to go, obviously made some adjustments, but no, it honestly wasn't too bad. We had a day or 2 days in between. I don't remember. But no, we were super prepared and understood that we just needed to contain. We knew what Betts was going to do. We knew that she was going to get rebounds. She was going to finish over us. Like, we just don't have the size to match up against that. That's a tough matchup, but we gave it our all. We tried doubling. It was more just being able to contain everyone else as well. But obviously that fell apart a little bit in the third quarter, but being able to prove that we can compete with the number one team on their home court in the kind of environment that they play in was awesome. And I think it did put Richmond on the map and put us in national spotlight.
And Addie, for this is for the casual fan that might not be as familiar with the women's program. Folks might not know Addie was our center on that team. She was our 5. You're 6'2". You're guarding a 6'7" Lauren Betts, who's widely considered the best player in the country. Just give the casual listener a sense of just how strong somebody like that is, like what you have to do. Do you have any tricks to, like, is there anything you have it up your sleeve that you could give you any chance in there? Because that's just a brutal matchup for anybody.
Yeah, I needed some tips and tricks when I was in there, but just size-wise, like, I mean, I knew our defensive principles. I knew I needed to box out, but to a certain point, you can only push someone back so far, jump so high to be able to get the rebounds. At times it worked out, but I mean, full transparency, there was a timeout where coach came up to me and was like, "What do you think we should do?" Because it was not going well. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, she's an All-American, a 6'7", 6'8" All-American for a reason.
Yeah.
She's an incredible player. I think that we did a decent job containing her at the beginning, but then obviously that's just a tough matchup for us.
It's so tough.
And
Well,
I
Addie,
think
you are.
Addie,
Go ahead, Katie.
sorry, I just wanted to say I think Addie had a very, very tough matchup that game, and she had a big task, and I think she fought really well, and our job was to go in there and try to help her as much as possible on those box outs and when she got the ball. And I think Addie did a great job guarding in there. We tried to help her out as much as we could, but at the end of the day, in the third quarter, it took a toll on us.
I will say, Addie, you are a much better 3-point shooter than Lauren Vess. So
Thank
you've got that over her. So maybe just kind of wrap up the game part. So you had that really tough third quarter, kind of game's over. How are you able to kind of recognize like what a great season you had? You had that first big win. You're kind of after a loss. Like how long does it take for you to say like that? Okay, we lost. That's okay. We were at since at UCLA, lost to the best team in the country. Let's not kind of hold that too long, kind of mentally. What is that like, Katie? Maybe you could tell us kind of if you can remember back. Like how do you turn your head to like, hey, this was a great year?
I think going into that game, we knew we had a chance to win, but we all had the mindset that what we've done to get to that point of playing UCLA was an awesome path and a great experience for all of us. And just trying to keep that in mind. I know we got subbed out before the game was over, and I know when I was getting the sub from the sideline, I had a flood of emotions hit me. Um, it was a lot to take in because not only was that a tough loss, but for Addie and I, it was the end to our basketball careers, which is a tough thing to process, and I think I'm still processing it now. But I think just recognizing everything else that we had accomplished and done that season and in our careers and keeping that in mind and just being happy for all of that versus dwelling on the fact that we just lost that game, but acknowledging everything that we did to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, everything that Katie said, obviously there was a different sense of emotion for us and feeling because it was the last time we were ever walking off the court, taking off our basketball shoes. So, but I think there's just so much pride in what we did both this year, but then also over our time at Richmond, where once you sit down and I don't think it necessarily hits when you're sitting there. Obviously, there's a level of disappointment given that we were in the game at halftime and then it slipped away from us. But once you leave that gym, I think when we were there, obviously there were tears. It was a sad locker room, but then once we kind of all understood the gravity of what we did and how we put Richmond on a map in the women's basketball world, there was a bucket of In-N-Out waiting for us. We all kind of sat together. Some people still crying. I think it didn't hit me until after post game. I think Maggie got me in the post game. But just being able to all sit together and talk about our experience and understand that what we did that year was extremely special. And this was kind of our last moment together. And I think when we got back to the hotel, a lot of us stayed up pretty late just because we didn't want it to end. We knew how much we meant to one another. And I think a lot of us sat in the lobby and just avoided going upstairs, like taking the backpack off and everything. So, but just pride.
Mike Scrocky, who was a guest on our previous episodes, described, when he goes into the Robins Center, he looks up and he sees their NCAA banner and he just feels kind of a warmth because that's his his teammates' banner. They brought that to the university as their contribution to the university, and nobody can ever take that away. He talked about the coach, his desire to get a banner, and Scrocky didn't appreciate it while he was a student, but now he's about 20 years ahead of you guys in life on an age basis. He loves the fact that he can walk into the Robins Center and that's his. Like he and his teammates did that, and so I would imagine at some point in time, we're going to have both of you guys in the Robins Center, and you're going to look up and you're going to see that. And that's your gift to Richmond.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think going through time before we even were close level wise to playing in the NCAA tournament, coach would always talk about, like, point to the rafters and be like, we want a banner, like, this practice can't happen, or we need to do this. It was always there and talked about. And the fact that we got to make a permanent mark on the Robins Center, and have pride to know that we contributed to that, and that was a team that we were a part of, is definitely a really cool feeling.
Yeah, I think our team is always going to have that banner and these memories and experiences to share, and that's something I'll be grateful for always.
That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe just taking a step back. I mean, looking over your career, kind of what did you learn at University of Richmond? It's a very broad statement, but if you think back to yourself as a senior in high school, and now you're kind of graduated and kind of out post college, kind of what are the main lessons you have from your journey? Katie, maybe you can go first.
Okay. I mean, this is a very cliche one, but just enjoy it while it lasts is one, because I'm sitting here now done playing, and I would do anything to be able to go back and play another year. Like, I love basketball. Those were some of the best experiences and memories of my life. So it goes fast, and enjoy it while it does. But also, I think being a college athlete can be very time consuming, and it can be a lot at times. So just making sure that you can step away from basketball when you leave the court at times, and that it doesn't consume your whole life. 'Cause like we said, we've had some seasons where we weren't winning as much. It can be a lot, so just make sure that you find a good balance between life and basketball, but also enjoy the basketball, because it's going to come to an end at some point.
Yeah,
That's great.
obviously second everything Katie said, but also just the school, University of Richmond, and athletics. Like, it just gives you a different level of confidence. I mean, in the classroom, as a person on the court, I know for me personally, like, I came in and I was definitely more quiet. I had conversations where it was like, why aren't you speaking in meetings? Why aren't you doing this? I was just a nervous freshman. But just being more confident in yourself. Obviously, there's the academic piece of going through the business school, like better understanding the world and all of that, but then also going through the athletics piece of, okay, you're getting older, you're stepping up into a leadership role. Like, how can you help the younger kids? Obviously, talking with the community, talking with donors, like doing media, having to carry yourself in a certain way. So just having that confidence and ability to speak and grow into who you are, both as an athlete and a person, was definitely something I'll forever be grateful for the school, University of Richmond, for giving me.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, thought to kind of end this on a fun note. I have some superlatives, and I'm going to ask you, and we'll go one to the other. You can each answer one. Looking at your team last year, kind of who fits this superlative, okay? And you're allowed to repeat. You can just pick on each other as well. But I'll go through these, and Katie, we'll start with you. Best locker room DJ.
I'm a terrible person to ask this question to.
Okay, Addie, who's the best who
Yeah, like,
controls the
don't
music
ask
in the
me.
locker room? Or
I'll
who's
say
best
Addie,
model?
actually, because Addie and I like the same music, but nobody else would agree with that.
Yeah, we're definitely two people that probably shouldn't be asked aux questions, as we're not usually allowed on the aux, but Maggie or Jada would both be on aux. There'd be good days and bad days, but for the most part, those were the two team DJs for us.
What is the music you two like that no one else likes?
Country.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Okay.
we're not fans of rap music, so
Okay.
a lot of times the DJ would be playing rap
The
music,
DJ.
which we weren't a fan of.
Okay, second one. Addie, I'll start with you. Most likely to nap anywhere.
Maggie.
Maggie.
Maggie would fall asleep we would be driving to the game. It would be a 5-minute bus ride from like St. Bonaventure. We would stay across the street. We'd be driving to the game. She'd be asleep for 2 minutes. Knocked out. It
That's
was the
awesome.
most impressive thing I've ever seen.
Okay, Katie, who's the funniest teammate?
Oh gosh.
Anyone
I don't
practical
like getting put
joker?
on the spot like this. Uh,
Who made you laugh?
Jada.
Jada.
Okay.
Yes, Addie is right. Jada.
Okay.
Okay, another one. Addie, I'll start with you. Most likely to forget something on road trips.
Maggie. This girl left her shoe. We were playing at Davidson, and I remember I was about to get in the elevator, and Maggie called me like 3 times. And I'm like, what is going on? So I answered. She's like, Addie. I'm like, what? She's like, I forgot my shoes. and she ended up going to the store and buying shoes, but she's winning all these superlatives.
Yeah, that's
She's racking up the awards.
Those were
Okay.
2 easy ones you got, Addie.
Okay, Katie, I'll go to you. Who's the best sideline celebrator? Who is the best cheerer on the sidelines?
Jada.
These two are
Awesome.
just taking them all.
Jada's lasso was just unmatched. Her lasso celebration for our play lasso. She had a celebration. It was
That's awesome.
Okay, Addie, the most intense competitor, even in practice.
Mm,
And you can't say yourself because
yeah.
because you might be that. You might have won that one, but still.
No, honestly, it could be Katie or
But
Rachel
Katie's a good one.
too.
That's a perfect answer. Yeah, Katie had
Yeah.
a defensive intensity that was hard to match.
Everybody plays hard. Everybody competes. So that's definitely a tough one. I'll give Katie's here. I'll give it to
Well,
Kate.
thanks.
Okay, Katie, best dressed off the court. You love these, don't you? Okay, Addie, who has the best fashion sense on the team last year?
We're usually all in sweatpants and our team gear.
You know what? I'll bring Anna into this. I think Anna
Anna
always
Camden?
had Anna Camden. She always had solid outfits no matter what the occasion was. Give it to her.
Okay, Katie, I think this might be an easier one. Most likely to end up as a coach.
I know Maggie wants to be a coach, so Maggie.
Addie, any different answer for you? You think?
No, I was gonna say Maggie. That's her.
Okay, 2 more. We're almost done, Katie. Hidden talent award. Anyone on the team have a talent outside of basketball that would be surprising for the general fan? Do you two have any hidden talents?
Not that I know of. Huh.
Any great singers, for instance?
People like to think so.
None that I've heard.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go to the last one, and Kate, I'll put you on the spot on this one. Biggest team mom.
Addie.
That's why I wanted to ask you. I could tell when Maggie's calling Addie about her shoes. It's, that's an important role. Well, anyway, thank you very much for joining us today. This has been an awesome conversation. Appreciate all the time, and most importantly, appreciate what you did at University of Richmond. We're a proud alumni. That's why we reached out to you to get you here. It was awesome what you were able to accomplish and the trajectory that the program has now because of what you did over your time at Richmond.
And I'll just add, each of you guys have made just an incredible mark on Richmond's community, Richmond women's basketball. There's a lot of decorated awards that each of you guys have received over the years that we didn't cover off here for the casual fan. So we wanted you guys to just talk about your story from the time you committed to the time you did something unbelievable, which was do something nobody had ever done in Richmond college history on the women's side, which is win an NCAA tournament game. So yeah, reiterate what Tom said, as fans of basketball, like we're just so grateful that you two decided to come to Richmond, and you decided to stay at Richmond and finish your careers here. And you guys will have that for the rest of your lives, as Katie said really, really well. I mean, you guys have the reflection of knowing that you have accomplished something great, and you can build off that for the rest of your life. So again, thank you very much for being our guest today, and thank you for taking us down this great story.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for spreading Spider basketball.
We're going to do our best. And so for you casual fans, there's more of this greatness still to witness. So come out to the Robins Center this year and support the ladies. You'll find Tom and I there. We'll be at the games, and hopefully come up and say hi to us. And it sounds like, Addie, you stayed in Richmond, so maybe we'll see you at the games as well. So we're super excited.
Yes, and they'll at some point soon, I guess in November, I'm guessing there'll be a banner unveiling. Hopefully they give you enough notice, Katie. Maybe you can come down for that as well. But it'll be exciting when they do that.
I'll be at games at Robins Center this year.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you in person then. That's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, that was a lot of fun interviewing Katie and Addie. Porter, what do you think?
We're just happy to be talking about the program we love, and we hope that we provide a little bit of value to everybody who listens.
That's going to do it for this week on Spiders Sound Off.
Thanks, everybody.
Richmond fans, talking hoops, women and men. Spiders sound off, spiders sound off, spiders sound off, spiders sound off. We will try to be funny and entertain. Maybe you'll learn something or just complain. Spiders sound